Hello. Welcome to the Charlotte Mason Curriculum Chat number 6. I'm Dolly Freeman, and I'm the blogger behind the Charlotte Mason Way and the creator of the Charlotte Mason Framework. I'm really excited to be coming to you guys each week at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to be sharing some of my favorite curriculum over the 20 years of experience in the Charlotte Mason Way. So this is a chat. That means I love interaction and questions and thought-provoking things about the curriculum that I'm sharing. So who's here with me? Say hello and tell me where you're at before we jump into the curriculum study or the curriculum chat. I'd love to hear who it is that's going to be chatting with me. So go ahead and introduce yourself. And the things I'm going to be introducing today is actually one of my readers' request. So our viewers' request, and one of my chats a couple weeks ago, I think this one was asked. So if you have a desire, I would love to hear from you and say, you know, this is where I have a gap and I can see if I can help you out in there in an upcoming chat. I promise to do these through the summer as best as I can at Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll see how they go. We might go into the fall as well, but I know for sure I'm here for you in the summer. So hello, Tina. Nice to have you here. I love to know that I'm not just speaking to the camera. And hello, JTR. Jamila. Is that how you say it? Jamila. That's probably how you pronounce that. So welcome here. We're going to be talking about Bible resources. A couple weeks ago, I talked about the Genesis Finding Your Roots from Ruth Beechick. If you didn't watch that, you should look into the video section. And I think it was chat number 4. I think we're on 6. I think it was 4. So I was asked some other suggestions for Bible. And so frankly, I'm going to just open up and say our Bible curriculum is reading the Bible. So we definitely stay as close to that as our curriculum. Charlotte Mason recommended that as well, that you read the Bible and you don't read it in the watered down. Our children grew up in the King James Version. Actually, myself, I purchased the Interlinear Bible, which has the original Hebrew and Greek. And don't get me wrong, I do not know how to read Hebrew and Greek. This is something that I had to learn, or not learn. It teaches you. So there is the Hebrew, and then it also has the numbers in it, and then it has the English translation, and then in the New Testament it has the Greek with the English translation as well as every word in the Bible is assigned a number, and that helps you with a study. So if you want to do a word study, it's really good. So with that being said, the Bible is definitely our curriculum of choice when teaching Bible. But there's certain things that you can do, like deeper studies in different books. You can do biographies for different people in the Bible. There are a lot of those out there. But then you can also do what we're going to talk about today. And so we're going to get into that. I actually have 3 books, and I'm really excited to be sharing these with you. And the reason is because they just kind of go together. It's just like peanut butter and jelly, or my favorite, peanut butter and chocolate. And they all go together. So I wanted to go ahead and do it. So this is one of our books, the Student's Bible Atlas, and I always try to get the glare off it. The Student Bible Atlas by Tim Dowley. I actually have the affiliate links for these on Amazon if you're looking to get them. I forget the prices. I did look. These are colored maps. And what I love about this particular one is that it teaches the scripture that you can read along with it to understand the map. So how powerful is that? So remember, at the very beginning, I mentioned that the Bible is our curriculum. So for instance, here's the Exodus. The Exodus is where Moses took the children of Israel out of Egypt. And this takes the 40-year journey that they did in the wilderness, and it shows exactly based on scripture where they went. And so it gives a little landmark that your children should be able to identify as an Egyptian landmark. And right here, it tells you Exodus and Numbers is where you'll be reading that this map is part of. So, and then map number 6 is crossing the Jordan. And it talks about how they went into the promised land. I'm a little too far. So this is map 6. So, and map 6 is the next page. Nope, I'm sorry. Sometimes they have these little maps put in. So this is page 7, and it talks about how they entered in, the dividing of the land. So this is really good if you're going to be studying the beginning, the Old Testament. It also goes into the New Testament as well. Paul's ministry, if you, your child loves Paul and wants to study them. This is something that how old was he when he was in there? I think my older ones did it too, but I know for certain that it wasn't this school year, it was last school year. Our oldest, our third child, studied the life of Paul and the New Testament church. And so these were some of the maps that he really used in the process. So really good. Does anyone have any questions on this particular book before I move on to our next one? I like to keep these chats nice and short so that they're something that you can come back to time and time again without having to take a lot of your time. So if you have any questions about this, drop it in and we'll talk about it. All right. Now I have to say, this one is by far my favorite map resource. So if you don't know this about Charlotte Mason liked children to create their own maps. And we've done it before where they've done it on the window, and they've traced the map with tracing paper. They've put the map that they're tracing, tape it on the window, and then we put another map tracing paper over it, and then they trace the map underneath it, and that just gives them some light, and it stays there until they're done with it. So that's a fun activity. So making maps are something that Charlotte Mason highly recommends. This is my favorite one for Bible. So this is the deluxe, and there's a reason there's the word deluxe here. Trying to get the glare off for y'all. Then and Now Bible Maps. This is truly then and now, and it's maps. So here it goes through the table of content. So you'll see it starts with the beginning of Exodus, which I showed you, I think was map 5 in that book. And then at the very bottom, it goes through the quest of the Promised Land to the United Kingdom, and then the divided kingdom to the Persian Empire, and then the life of Jesus, the spread of Christianity. And then here it is. And they have on the first page, they have fascinating facts from the Bible, both Old and New Testament, based on the map you're going to be learning about. So here is the Middle East map during the Bible times. So this is all that. You'll be able to have some really good thing. It explains how to read a map, and it gives you the definitions of the map things. So the solid circles here are cities or town. If they have 3 dots, they're ancient ruins. If there is a solid square, like up here, it's a mountain. And then modern day capital cities are marked with a circle with a star in it. And I'm trying to see where there is one here. I'm not seeing one jump out here. But this is what I love. It has this overlay of today's geography. So then they'll be able to see, like if you're reading in the Bible and you come across, Canaan, well, what's Canaan today? And then being able to, the Jordan is part of Iraq, and it just totally lays it on there, so it makes it understanding when reading scripture. So, and why it's deluxe, and watch it not be in here, is the deluxe actually comes, and it's not in here, it comes with a CD. So we keep our CDs all in another area by our computer so the kids can grab them pretty easily. And then there's so many. Here's Paul's journey again, but it's not in so much detail as the other one, and these are smaller. And that's further back. The earlier maps are the maps of the overlay. And I just love it. They base it off from scripture so a child can learn through Bible study as well and get a feel for it. And so here is the Babylonian Empire, and it goes through the kingdom of King Nebuchadnezzar, and it talks about the different, the dream that Daniel had and where they are. Really good. So if you want just a guide, so to speak, of how to read through the Bible, both old and new, these maps are wonderful because it just brings it to light. You guys are really quiet today. Usually I get some good interaction on here, questions and comments and such. And it's a chat, so I would love to hear from you. All right, my third book. This one, when you do maps, it's best to do it where children are taking away not only, what it looks like on the map, but making a connection with people, right? So you can't have places without people. And the whole thing about getting excited about the Bible is seeing people in it. Thank you, Sarah and Marie, for joining in and commenting, and Tina. I love it. It just makes me know that I'm not just talking to myself. So this is my favorite because it brings in the concept of people in these lands. And so the best thing to do when you're teaching any kind of geography is making the connection of popular landmarks. Things like I mentioned earlier, the Sphinx. That's in Egypt. So when a child sees a Sphinx, they're automatically making that connection of Egypt, right? And then the Egyptians will be, okay, Pharaoh. Well, then Pharaoh leads you to Moses. And they make those connections in their head, the more layers that we give them. So the Bible is one thing, but when you make the Bible real to them by showing the lands and making the connection with today's history and geography and how it relates to Bible, it just makes the Bible come alive for your children. So you don't just give them dry facts, you make it living by making those connections. All right, so this is Bible Then and Now. This is a thicker book, and this is something that I absolutely love. It has some of the effects of the then and now, but this has more. Sarah, yes, I do share affiliate links. They're in the top part of this post, and they're all from Amazon. So if you have Prime, it makes it really nice. So this gives you an introduction of the books, but what I love about it is the pictures. I mean, it totally, let me see if I can, let's see if I can do this. I know what. I'll do this. All right, so these are the pictures of the different lands, and it's reading. So it's something that our high schoolers do when they start Bible history. If you remember, now I feel weird just looking at my mouth. If you remember, a couple weeks ago, I talked about Bible history is a year that we start our world history. We really begin at the beginning. So this is something that my kids, and I'm sorry, I just landed on that page. So it gives a good introduction as to what you can do, but it really helps bring the people and high school together. So here's another map, but now we get into the cool things. So here is Babylon. And if your children read about Babylon from the story of Daniel, and they see the maps in the other book, and they learn about his dreams and all this kind of stuff, now they can start seeing this play out, this mirror. This is so fun trying to figure this out. Now they get to see it laid out in Bible times. So this is what it would have looked like. What are we looking at? The reconstruction of Nebuchadnezzar's great city. And so this is what it looked like based on what we know from history and archaeology. And you talk about archaeology coming alive for your children in this book. It really does. But then you take this apart, and this is what it looks like today. So if they're seeing these kind of things playing out, this is so barren and so hard for children to relate with. But then the stories of, all the battles and all of the destructions that come from it come alive when they see what it used to look like. So isn't this cool? I love these overlays. So this particular chapter is completely about Babylon. You'll have some Babylon art. You'll have Daniel being spoken about here. You'll have some of the artifacts that are going. So this is something that my kids read in high school. And they get a real deep understanding when they're doing biblical history of how all of this plays out. the Sea of Galilee. It talks about all this kind of stuff. And then it goes into a different city. So here's Athens, and this is the reconstructed view of the Acropolis in Athens' Golden City. There's such a glare on this. But this is what it looks like today. And they're just filling it out some more so a child can really understand what it would look like in its first condition. So this goes on and on. There is quite a many cities that it does, and they're all biblical histories, biblical cities that they would have seen in their map and they would be reading about in their Bible. So so I hope that gets you excited. Sarah says, this will definitely be on my book list ASAP. That is awesome, because these 3 books have been part of our homeschooling for probably 18 years, maybe 17 years. I have not had to buy anything extra for biblical history in our homeschooling. So these are what I talk about when I say non-consumables, and that you can use them again and again and again with each of your children. This is what I mean when I say that you're building a Charlotte Mason library, that you don't have to keep buying curriculum every year. You're just adding to your library. And then when you find those really, really good resources, you're done. You don't have to keep building. Now, I will say I have been building over the last couple, probably 2 or 3 years. I've started building again, and the reason is the library just is not the same anymore. I cannot go and find just fun little reading for my son to do that's not assigned to him, just free reading. I'm having a really hard time finding books that I feel are not just twaddle. Literature doesn't really have a point. You know, you're not learning about men, you're not learning about nations, you're not learning about anything educational, but you want to still be building their vocabulary. You still want to be putting ideas in their head, and you still want to be making them delight in what they're reading. There is not a lot of those good choices in the library today. So I've told my husband a couple of years ago, I'm lacking in that area, because our older 3 kids, I utilize the library so much, and I don't have a lot of time to go to the library, but when I have had time, I walk away disappointed. So I've put a lot of effort now into building a free reading resource for that purpose. And so that's where I've kind of been going with still constructing my Charlotte Mason library. Okay. Tina says, I have to add this to our list for this year. Absolutely. Sarah, I have a junior high daughter too, as well as high schoolers. Could I use it for both? Absolutely. This book, it's more meaty, and it depends on your child. You know, they may want this, but it goes into more archaeology, and it just definitely sets the tone of the different parts of the biblical history of each of the cities. So this might be something you want to hold off just for your high schooler. Your middle schooler may just not be interested yet. But this book has actually made my children love a series. Oh goodness, I always forget names. Expedition Unknown. I don't know if you guys know this. I don't know what channel it is. I am not a good TV person. I don't even know really how to shut my TV off. This morning I thought I'd try a little DVD and exercise my knee a little bit outside of the pool, because I'm still recovering from surgery in November. And I couldn't even get the stinking TV off. I don't even know what it's called, DVD player working. My children have just taken over that world for me, and it's so hard. So yeah, definitely decide where your kids are, but Expedition Unknown has become a favorite thing in our family, because it just kind of opened up that world of hidden treasures, and not just like money, hidden treasure, but the hidden treasures of history and what lies beneath the soil and things like that. So that was really cool. So we definitely love it. It might be on Prime Video, but it's a series. It literally is a series. So it might be the History Channel, maybe, because it's educational. It definitely, like they've talked about things like as King Arthur, a legend or real. Robin Hood, they've gone through a whole lot of things. So they're names that my children are familiar with. They've covered Vikings and medieval things, and it's really neat. And it kind of brings history into today and makes them excited about searching for truth and getting more of the story. Okay, so Sarah says, no sharing. No, and I said this before, when you're building your Charlotte Mason library, you do not want to share these resources. I have made that mistake early on, and I have probably lost about $200 worth of books because I've lent them out and I couldn't remember who they were, lent them out to, and I never got them back. So when you are building your library, you just need to keep them sacred in your home. And my grandkids can use them, but they have to use them here probably. I don't know. I'll probably let my children use them at some point, but they're still important to me. So, and Sarah says, and I meant no sharing the books or loaning them out. Yes, I knew that's what you same way. No sharing my Charlotte Mason books. But yeah, and I don't remember the price point. The affiliate links are in the post itself, but they're really worth it. You know, grab one, grab two, and then if you don't have any high schoolers yet, or you want to learn it yourself. I mean, if you really want to get into some history cities, the Bible Then and Now is such a good book. All right, you guys, do you have any last thoughts before I go ahead and close this curriculum chat? Just remember, I'll be live every week, and this week I forgot to send out the email because I've been open cart with the Charlotte Mason framework and working a lot of hours. So a few things went through the hole. So this is something that I'll be doing again next week. So set your timer, 1:30 on Wednesday at Eastern Standard Time. And I will see you guys next week. But I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any recommendations or desires for me for recommendations, a subject or something that you're having a hard time filling in, let me know. But trust me, I do have a lot of resources. But if I know that someone's looking for something particular, I will do my best and bump it up in the list of things I've shared with you. You are more than welcome for the knowledge I share freely, Sarah. It's been a joy. All right, you guys, well, you have a wonderful rest of the week. Remember to get outside and enjoy some of the summer, even though it's hot. I've spent, I think, 5 hours this morning out on my porch. Until recently, I had to come in to get ready for this and charge my laptop. So spend as much as you can outside. I'm going to be heading to the pool about 4 today and spending about 4 more hours outside. So do what you can and do it outside and enjoy the summer. All right, y'all, have a wonderful rest of the day. I'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.